Try those tomatoes.
Yeah, we will. Hi. Hello, Margie. Crocheting in your corner.
Hello,
I'm glad that
hello.
your corner is with us.
So what are you crocheting,
Yeah,
Margie?
what are you crocheting? Tell us. I admire that skill because I don't have that skill.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot do anything
Maybe
with
she got
fibers.
started early on the Christmas stuff.
Oh, did
'Cause
you?
The summer is already flying
Oh
by.
my gosh, isn't it crazy like how fast summer is going?
So do you want
Hello, Ashley B. What? No, you gotta wait for people to work
come in? All right, we got some big
We've got
news.
some really big news.
Yeah, so we're excited.
It's exciting for us. It's probably not big to some people, but wow, there's not that much of a lag either, so that's good.
So yeah,
we'll give time for people to get in, but we've got a lot of like really exciting stuff going on. I might eat my salad a little bit because I've got a salad. I haven't eaten dinner.
We did almost have a disaster though. So
the dog's almost
just a heads up, like for to give you an idea of what we were doing before this. Yeah. We went up into town. They had like a little concert going on. It's called Live in Liberty, where we live. And so they had live music playing. We went up there, just enjoyed being around a group of people and just listening to the music and had a good time. They were playing like old Merle Haggard and stuff like that.
They were really good.
They were a good band, but it was just neat to see the community get together. They had a bunch of stuff for kids. They had like balloons and cotton candy and all that. So it was a really cool little gathering. I mean, there's quite a few people there. I mean, not a huge crowd, but so we get done there. We come back home to get ready for our live. And when we get home, Ashley's like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "What?" As she walks into the kitchen.
I love La Rosa's.
Yeah, that's what she's eating right now.
That's actually what I'm eating. Salad.
But her top choice of all foods, like if I
could choose anything,
upset with me, the way to solve it is spaghetti. It's not chocolate. Upset with you. It's La Rosa's spaghetti, believe it or not. So we got home and she'd gotten La Rosa's on the way home, and she didn't get a chance to eat it because of the big news we're going to announce here in a bit. But we went into town after that because we wanted to check out, what was going on up there and sort of offer our support. Come home and her spaghetti box is just shredded on the kitchen floor, and she's like, "Oh God, my spaghetti's gone." Couldn't find the actual like plastic container it comes in.
I was between like complete catastrophe and rage.
And I was in the same shape because I know how she's gonna feel if her spaghetti is gone.
He knew he was going to suffer at some point.
So anyways, she looks over and it's laying in the middle of our living room floor, still in the plastic Tupperware.
They didn't even touch it.
They didn't.
They just relocated it.
Yeah, it's like they couldn't get through it. It was like a force field around it.
How did you not see that when you walked in? When I got home, I went straight to the barn.
By the back door, yeah.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I went straight to the barn, so I didn't see anything. But it would have been like right where Mark would have walked. Yeah. So I'm like, how did you not see
I didn't walk through there.
Did it?
Promise I didn't step on it. But anyways, they did get the breadsticks, but she always gives those to them, so they're used to that. But yeah, we almost had a major disaster. So
yeah, I think they knew. They're like, this is due to us because I never eat the breadsticks. I either usually ceremoniously I will take one bite of one breadstick and give one to each of the dogs.
No, I'll eat them if I get spaghetti too, because sometimes it sounds good, so I'll get it. That way I fill myself up on the spaghetti or the breadsticks and spaghetti, but I'll have leftover spaghetti.
Yeah.
And then she gets to bring some home. She likes her spaghetti so much she'll actually eat it for breakfast.
Cold. I will cold. And everybody at work freaks out because usually like they have this thing called spaghetti aplenty on Mondays and Tuesdays where you can go and get as much spaghetti as you want. So we always go and like if we're going to eat in, like that's when we go because then we get more bang for our buck.
Yeah. Definitely.
So then like the next morning I'll bring it in, and if like I get hungry mid-morning, like I will just whip that out of the freezer and like sit at my desk and eat it. I don't know how many people I've grossed out where they're like, what? Like, oh yeah, cold spaghetti is as good as cold pizza. So
I can't agree there, but we'll let that go.
I feel like I'm hogging this a little bit.
You are. You can see we've got green tomatoes up there.
And marigolds that are dying and zinnies.
Amazon Echo I'm pointing out, but yeah, we're going to fry those up. Should be a good time.
Yeah.
Since a lot of our garden's been ravaged by our ducks, so we've only gotten a couple cucumbers. Yeah, they've gotten out and pretty much eaten up everything. So.
Yeah, and they were staying in for a while, and I have like an update for the hawk too. which I think we had a really. I think we just kind of stumbled into figuring out this was the reason why the hawk was coming to our yard to predate on our ducks.
Margie's with you. She says, "I love next day spaghetti sandwiches."
I have not tried the sandwiches, but that sounds like a carb.
Probably not much different than like
good. I would like
eating it with the garlic bread. Do
you eat it with garlic bread? Is that how you eat your sandwich, Margie? Because that would be kind of fantabulous.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you get the garlic bread with a little bit of cheese on it.
Yeah. Okay. So what's everybody doing today? What has been the highlight of your week so far?
Right now.
I know. Well, no, I don't know. Like, I know we're not that riveting or anything. But it would brighten my day to know what has brightened your day today.
Mm-hmm.
For me today, I have lots of big news to share with you guys, but I really want to kind of wait until we get into it and there's a couple more people in here.
Margie said absolutely garlic bread and
you heat it up. Oh, Margie, that sounds pretty amazing. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a specific type of garlic bread that you prefer to do this with? Because if I'm going to try it, I need to make sure it's the right bread.
Yeah.
The right bread. But yeah, tell me something that has brightened your week. If you're watching this on replay, drop it in the comments. If you're watching it live, put it in the chat. I want to know what has been something this week that it's just made you.
Because hopefully it'll brighten our week too.
Yeah.
Especially if it's.
I love hearing other people's
Especially if it's
news.
baby animals, that brightens Ashley's day every day.
Every day. It consumes my world.
Every time she sees it.
Baby animals.
Pictures.
Hello, Indiana Backyard Gardener. Swimming with Joe Willow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We saw the pictures
I saw your
today.
pictures. You guys look like you're having so much fun. It made me so jealous being stuck in the office.
Mm-hmm. Margie said, "I make my own garlic bread, white bread." Oh, that sounds good.
That's nice. That sounds really good.
Yeah. We usually
ripe tomatoes. Yes, ripe tomatoes do brighten your day because you're like, finally, especially if you can get them to ripening without that blossom rot or them splitting or bugs getting to them or the ducks eating them.
A lot of things like tomatoes.
Yes. I wish I liked tomatoes more.
Indiana,
I do like the fried green tomatoes. You kind of torn me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anything fried's hard not to like, so.
Yeah.
Plus, you can dip them in ranch. You can dip them in what else did they have? They had something else. Hot sauce. They had all kinds of stuff.
Maybe tartar sauce. Tartar sauce.
So, Indiana Backyard Gardener, what's your recipe you use for tomatoes? I also like, was it pico de gallo?
Pico de gallo.
De gallo, yeah. I don't know how to say it, but I like to eat it.
He likes to eat it, and that's all that matters.
Also, a good way to do it. Somebody at work had brought some in. Was basically the same ingredients, like chopping up cucumbers, onions, tomatoes, and everything, and then mixing in Italian dressing. Yeah, making like a chopped salad. It was good.
You're making goat milk lotion, deodorant brown. I really wanted to try doing that.
Ashley's bucket list to do.
I have a lot of goat milk that I have frozen for soap.
Their picture has little baby goats.
And it does, and they're the cutest little baby goats ever.
Yeah.
Oh, you moved it.
I know you were trying to look.
I was trying to look at it.
Like
baby goats. But
Cody's
working with live really scares me. I have everything. I've read a lot on it. And then I go to the goat milk soap makers group on Facebook, and some of those people turn out the most beautiful soap that I've ever seen. And I'm like, I could probably turn out to be chalky and nasty and won't set up. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little intimidated. It's gonna be one of those things I'm just gonna have to take the leap of faith into it. But I'm really interested to learn about the lotion. Does it require any lye? What ingredients does the lotion require that maybe the soap doesn't? Salsa, yes. Cody's in the phone. Yeah. Hi, Cody. How are you? I saw your kiddo started school today. Am I right?
Yeah, I saw the picture. We just put 18 pounds of rabbit in the freezer. How many rabbits make up 18 pounds of rabbit? That sounds like quite a few.
If they're bigger rabbits.
Because you probably get a couple pounds off each.
If you think about
giants, those are huge.
They wanted them between 3 to 5 pounds for their meat. Rabbit. Huh? The 3 to 5 pounds. Yeah. It was same for the chickens that they wanted for their
giant. Meat. That's like 1.
Yeah, but
I looked at one of those. I did a really big one.
Did you have silver martins? Is that what you had? Fox martin. Silver fox.
Indian Backyard Gardener. Yeah, you said salsa. That sounds
Tomato
good.
Sandwich. I have not had one before today. Really? And was it good? I don't like tomatoes though, and I really want to because I love growing them.
It must be like a fried, but it'd just be bread and
you
stuff.
You could probably fry it and then put a mayo or ranch on it and then slap it on a sandwich.
You'd probably like a BLT though. Bacon, lettuce, tomato.
I like a BL. I like BL.
No tea on that one.
And lettuce. Hold the tea. Hold the tea, please.
Yeah. She just can't get into tomatoes.
It's the texture.
Mm-hmm.
It's the flesh of the fruit is like tough, like it. And then when you bite it, there's not the same resistance as the skin, and it's like it gushes and it's watery. And just thinking about it freaks me out a little bit. But I love growing them, and my chickens enjoy them, and he likes them. So all of ours are still green.
Okay, so he did great for his first day in public school. We were really proud of him.
That's awesome.
So congrats and good job. It's a big step up.
Hello, Emma. Hola, amiga. How are you? I'm happy to see you.
Emma, what's for dinner tonight? You're always cooking up something good.
She's always putting her food. You give me a food complex, Emma, every time we talk to you. That's okay.
Yep, Cody said we have silver fox. Okay. That was 5 rabbits, 3 does, and $2.
Wow, that's pretty good. So it's like on average like 5-ish, 5.5-ish pounds. That's not bad. That's pretty good. That's like peak weight, right?
Well,
where you
he had 18 pounds, so that'd be more like
5-ish, 5.5 per weight.
5 times 5 would be 25 pounds. That's why I do. That's why I pay the bills. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that'd be more like a little under 4 pounds.
I never liked math.
That's still a lot. Yeah.
But that's peak. That's like where you want them to be. I prefer black over wheel tea. Okay, what's the A?
Yeah.
Avocado?
There you go.
Avocado? Black. I prefer to say the word black.
I want to say bacon, lettuce, and tomato. It'd be the same thing.
The next time I walk into a sandwich shop, I'd be like, I want it black.
Yeah.
I want them to know what I'm saying too. So Yoder Valley Farm said a lot of oils, preservatives, fragrance, and stearic acid. Okay, that's a new one. Those are some of the ingredients, but not much different from soap. A lot easier to make though. I like the a lot easier to make though. Because I freak out about live burning soap or having like a chemical reaction, but then
I'm not familiar with stearic acid though. Is that as harsh?
Where do you get that? Yeah. Where do you buy stearic acid? I'm betting it's probably like a craft thing, maybe. Hello, Bruce. How are you, buddy?
Swarmstead Bruce is
I saw all of your removals of wasps and hornets, and all bald-faced hornets, everything. Pretty cool.
So Emma said we're just having leftovers for dinner, tacos de carnitas and al pastor with rice.
Al pastor.
Al pastor.
Al pastor. I'm eating my salad still, so if my hand goes up like
you didn't roll the R. You can roll them and I can't. Well, Bruce is getting even more fancy. Look at this. BLTJCM. Not sure what the JCM is though. Trying to think, but I can't think.
It's stumping me.
Yeah, maybe it's jalapenos, cucumbers,
lettuce, avocado, and tomato. I knew.
Maybe the J is jalapenos. Maybe C is cucumber.
Cheddar.
That would work.
Mustard.
Mine would probably be like all letters, and it'd be all kinds of different meats. Yeah, turkey, ham. Just keep on heading.
Yeah, I could see you going that direction with it. I'm really intrigued. Okay, Bruce, you have to tell
Ashley,
us.
winner chicken dinner with the avocado, like you said.
I am the best.
All right, we're caught up, and yeah, you want to drop the big bomb?
Big news. Which one?
The one you want, yes, the one you want to drop.
Guys, I have a problem. I'm going to ask you what's wrong because I know that we have some experts in here when it comes to this, and I filmed on my phone, so I'm going to have to hurry up and get past all the videos. I had a breakout right before this. Which is just always so much fun.
She scared me to death, by the way, when she found this big news.
Well, I mean, it would scare anybody.
Looks like a hippo.
It does look kind of. Can you guys see this? My donkey has 8 legs.
And if you look, the middle ones are tiny. So.
They're small legs.
Yeah. So shockingly, tell them. Yeah, she walked out the milk, and needless to say, comes running back to the house, hit on the door.
Because I had all the milking stuff in my arms. I'm like, there's a baby donkey! And like,
freaked me out because I'm trying to wind down after my work day, and I'm like, what in the world's going on?
I looked out, and I'm like, what happened to that goat? I'm like, it looks weird. And then it turned its head, and its ears were huge. I'm like,
So yeah, we are super excited. Super cute. She's already picked it up and carried it around for a bit.
He let me put him on my lap and hold him. And it's a him.
Yeah.
I know. So I'm already looking like when I can gel. That's in his best interest because I will not have a Jack and I don't know if I can let him go because his ears are like this long and his head is like this big.
Super cute though.
He is all ears
cool.
and legs. It is the most amazing thing ever. A surprise donkey. I know. Yeah. Like what? That was my friend. Like what the heck? Baby donkey surprise. What's the best surprise today?
Like the mini donkeys are sort of cute anyways because they're like a small donkey and have that cute feature, but the baby donkeys on a different level.
Because they're disproportionate in all the cutest ways.
It looks like if it had its head down, it'd trip over its ears.
Like it would.
Its ears.
But then I got all weird.
I'm pretty sure they're born with adult ears the way
they are. And I, of course, I freak out because I can't.
And they were still curled a little bit because it was pretty newly born. Yeah, she's gonna try to show you.
Look at its head! Oh my god!
It is super cute. I ain't gonna lie. So everybody needs a baby donkey now.
Everybody needs a baby donkey.
Getting our stimulus check, baby donkey. That's what you get.
Baby donkey money. About all the other supplies you might need. Baby donkeys at the top of the list.
It'll brighten your day after work.
You know, like that meme where it's like when you get the stimulus check, you start buying like outrageous things. It's like a baby alpaca or something like that. Baby donkey.
Yep.
So, Bruce did reply with jalapeno cheese and mayo.
Yep.
Why did I say mustard? Mayo is implied, Bruce. You can't throw us off like that. Don't all BLTs come with mayo?
I was going to guess melon, but that'd be gross.
Melon?
That's like when Hell's Kitchen, when they do the taste test and they guess something like completely off, and he just was like,
they're like caviar with white chocolate and truffles. It's like, what?
Donkey. So we have a baby donkey. Yeah, Yoder Valley Farms. I got my stearic acid from Amazon. Okay,
that makes sense because that's where I got my life from.
Yep.
Baby, I can't take it, guys.
Get some of that so we can do some lotions, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they would. Would you say that lotions are probably a little bit better to work with prior to working with soap, or did you start? Have you made soap? And did you start with soap and then move to lotion? Because I need something to kind of build my confidence, and we cannot consume as much milk as I'm getting every day. So like, there's a lot of giving it to dogs or dumping it, and it kills me as a homesteader, as someone who strives to be self-sufficient, to dump anything that could be of use. It hurts my soul a little bit. So educate me.
Mayo and mustard are just givens. Chipotle or sriracha mayo even better.
Ooh, sriracha mayo sounds pretty amazing. Or Southwestern Ranch.
Or Cranch, like that one time I bought.
I didn't like that.
It's ketchup and ranch together, I think it was. Was it?
I like to mix ketchup and tartar sauce to eat fries from Frisch's.
What was that, Carter?
Carter?
You're like, what?
What's Carter?
Tarchep.
Oh, ketchup and tartar.
You're a little behind. It's all right. Look at all the baby woohoos in here.
I know, right? Baby woohoos all
Bruce
day.
Bruce surprise extra donkey. Yep, and we're thrilled that she passed him like easily. Didn't have any trouble.
He was already dry.
Yeah.
Now his little feathers on his feet. Anybody's ever seen baby horses or anything equine that's newborn? They get like the feathers on the bottom of their feet to help them descend through the birth canal without hurting their mother, because those are hard. It's the same with baby goats. They have the same thing on the bottom of their pads. But like the feathers were still feathery, so I'm like, well, we are brand new. Like we are.
Because we even looked through the field. I just want to make sure, like, in case she had twins or anything crazy, but yeah, we found where she birthed and it was still a wet spot.
We do need to remove that placenta though, because that isn't attractive. That was one of the main reasons I wanted to find it, but yeah. And then I think I might separate them from Rennie, because Rennie is just like all about playing. She wants to play, but I'm afraid like play will hurt.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to separate them tonight.
Cody said we need pics. I'm sure Ashley will
going to happen.
Overload our Facebook page.
I wanted to hit Facebook so hard before this, but I was like, I'll wait.
Yeah, I'm sure the baby donkey will probably make an appearance in almost every video, at least a short clip.
Video. And I need to figure out a name. Her name is Lola. So I was kind of like leaning towards like Lido or Luca or Quasi. I don't know why Quasi. Quasi was the first name that came to my head. Not like Quasimodo, because like he's super cute.
Yeah,
not that Quasimodo wasn't cute in his own way, like in the Disney film or whatever, but you know what I mean.
Got a weird interpretation of cute.
Girl, just make the soap. I know, Emma. I need to do that. So you start. Yoder started with lotions. Maybe that's what I will do then.
Because you are hesitant with the lye, so it might be.
Yeah. Sorry.
Bruce said, I use a lot of mayo, not regular people amounts. Try to use some modesty there in it. I don't know if mayo's...
Hey, if mayo makes you happy, eat all the mayo you want, Bruce.
So, are you against Miracle Whip, though? That's the big question. People are always like, mayo or Miracle Whip. Yeah.
I eat both. I don't really care. Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Is there a big difference in Miracle to mayo?
No, like if it's there, I'll eat it, but I'm not like super big on it.
I still can't. I can hear you, Emma, like in your regular voice. Girl, just make the soap.
Yeah. Maybe if we ate more mayo, we'd be better at catching swarms like Bruce. Maybe that's a secret.
Is that where your powers come from?
Mm-hmm. It's mayo.
I had laughed hysterically at one. Yes, because you were using those gloves, and then the wasp. You're like, I didn't think they could stick through these gloves. You're like,
oh, that stinks.
Son of a. I was like, oh, I laughed so hard. So I'm really sorry, but I laughed at your misery because I don't know, it just was really funny because you were so calm and you're like, ah.
That sounds painful. Stinging through a glove.
Well, I think wasp stings hurt way worse.
Being a backyard gardener, everybody hit the thumbs up. Thank you.
Yes, if you guys could do that, that would be helpful.
There, I did it too.
Mark's giving us a thumbs up. Yeah.
Yep. Yoder Valley Farm said I got my recipe from VW Family Farm on YouTube. Super easy recipe.
I will have to.
There we go.
Is this a name suggestion, Bruce?
I think so. Donko. I like Donko.
Donnie Donko.
With his ears, he is almost like Dumbo, and Donko looks to go with it.
Like they made fun of him.
Yeah. Came out good on the end, so. Emma said, Anne of all trades has a funny story about getting too excited about her first soap batch and not waiting long enough for it to cure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can imagine that being a disaster.
Like, I don't even know how some of these people, like, and they get so good at, they're like, I know when to cut. They're like, I wait 24, 48 hours, or sometimes I can just tell by looking at it that it's ready. And I'm like, I would be like the next day, like, let's cut this sucker and see what it looks like. And I probably ruined it.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Evelyn.
Couldn't quit laughing. Bruce like, what even is Miracle Whip?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's made by Kraft, but it's like, I don't know, like people I've seen on Facebook multiple times, people are like, Miracle Whip or mayo. I don't even really know, I don't know the difference. I feel like Miracle Whip might be sharper, but I'm not sure. I think it's almost like the alternative of like margarine versus butter. I think Miracle Whip might be like
I eat both of those too. I'm non-discriminate.
Yeah. I don't have enough palate to tell which one's which on this.
Either.
Smeared on and it
problem
works.
where I'm like, tastes the same.
Yep.
There are probably some people that would be like, that is blasphemy. They do not taste the same, but to me they do. Wasp stings do hurt like a mofo, Emma.
They are painful.
I have not gotten one for years, but we have lots of wasps around our house.
Yeah, this year especially bad.
Lots of wasps around our house.
Spring. Come here, Donko.
Senor Burro.
Burro, yeah.
Senor Burro.
That's good name. I like that one too.
Oh, no.
We got some prospects.
We do have some prospects. If it had been Rennie, we were going to name it Kylo, because then it could be Kylo and Ren, like Kylo Ren from Star Wars. I think Rennie's just fat.
Mm-hmm.
She's like...
Then you'd have to name one Mando.
You want to name him Mando?
No, name one Mando.
I'll name him Mando. It's going to be a while before the next one. Like, you can't breed them.
As he follows me, I'll be like, this is the way. To your stall. This is the way to your...
What was the baby's name? What?
What?
Grogu. His name was Grogu, the child, Grogu. And he has big ears.
Yoda.
Might be named Grogu. I'm not even lying. It might be Grogu.
I don't think you can name it that, because if you yell for him in the back of the field, somebody's gonna think you're like in distress. She had a dental procedure earlier in the day, and her mouth is still numb. That's what it sounded like.
No, No, I think people would know. My neighbors probably hear me yelling
or like
over here anyway.
Kurt Cobain when he sings, or Mama.
Marbles in the mouth.
Yeah. The old weird Al Yankovic. Yeah.
Or like
that's
spirit or something like that.
Indiana Backyard Gardener said I cannot do Miracle Whip.
Really? Why?
It does taste different. I cannot remember.
Taste different?
I haven't had Miracle Whip in a while. I cannot
I don't
remember.
know if it really does though.
But they also said I almost can't do mayo, just a little or mixed with mustard or barbecue.
That makes sense though, because then it kind of
Did they give a picture on there?
No.
Oh,
is it new, or I'm just not?
The more you know, the more you grow.
Yeah,
I like that.
The more you grow. Good evening, Carpenter Self-Reliance. Welcome.
Yeah.
We're fighting over what to name our new baby donkey.
Emma does prefer Grogu.
Grogu, yes. Yes.
Can we call it Grog for short?
No. Clear Grog. Sounds like you got stuck in the mud.
That's the name of something too, Grog.
I'm sure it is.
Oh. What was that? Lord of the Rings. Smaug.
Smaug. Not just smog, Smaug. Right? Smaug.
Oh. What?
You have to say it right.
Oh. Can't say anything right. I'm still recovering from.
Okay, so it has a sweeter taste than like regular mayo. See, now the next time like I have it like at a party or we buy it, I'm just gonna be like super analyzing what it tastes like. But yes, that was the big news. And I've got other big news that's like just for me.
Oh, Grog is the gorilla from Flash.
Okay.
Flash. See, I didn't watch much Flash. I'm trying to think what the gorilla looked like.
We are not well versed in things. I don't know if you guys.
Like I was like one of those that like had a couple superheroes I liked, and that's what I faithfully watched. Like
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was my big one. Yeah. I like Iron Man.
Power Rangers or Gargoyles.
Yeah.
When I was young, I watched Gargoyles. I loved watching Gargoyles.
Yeah.
I didn't like Demona. She was evil.
What was your guys' favorite show as a kid?
Growing up, your favorite cartoon. What was your go-to cartoon?
So I was homeschooled, and during the day, my big thing was catching. So cartoon was Spider-Man, but during the day, I'd actually watch what do you call it? The Andy Griffith Show pretty religiously. And then I Love Lucy.
Didn't you watch Beverly Hillbillies a lot too? Or is that just every now and then?
Every now and then.
Yeah. When I think about what I watched, I don't even know. I watched all kinds like Animaniacs and Smaug.
That's how you said it.
That's how it's spelled.
Indiana Backyard Gardener says they love Marvel.
Do you?
They're coming out with some new ones too.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like what Disney's doing, like with their little mini-series on Disney Plus. Grogu is perfect, isn't it?
I think you found a winner.
I think Grogu. I loved X-Men too. And I loved Gambit, and I loved Jubilee. Gambit and Jubilee.
X-Men, yeah, that was good. I like how they did the like individual movies with like the specific characters, like Wolverine. They had a couple movies branch off him. I'd like to see some others.
Like what?
Like Beast. I like Beast.
You like Beast?
Nightcrawler was cool too.
We kind of got the origin story from Beast.
So a little bit, yeah.
You kind of got that a little bit.
Indiana Backyard Gardener, Tom and Jerry. Yep.
Yes.
That was a good classic.
Yes.
My nephew liked it.
I loved Tweety Bird. Like Looney Tunes. Like
Looney Tunes were great.
What was that big hairy monster that like ran around in the mansion and Bugs was always like running from it, but it was just a big red hairy monster. It was shaped kind of like a heart with legs. You remember that guy? And he'd always go like down the hallway like, You don't remember that?
Not at all.
Maybe it's just
I can't help you there. Emma said, but I learned how to draw from Spider-Man and Superman comic books. Yep. I think that was like something you had to do. If you watched comics, you had to try to, or superheroes, you tried to draw the comics for sure. Cody, we only had about 5 channels. So during the day, it was soaps and The Price is Right. Then some good old Jerry Springer. Jerry. Yep. You know, once they start chanting Jerry, something was going to break out. Yeah. But Price is Right. Yep.
So Emma, Phoenix.
Bob Barker.
You like Phoenix. Did you like Dark Phoenix or Light Phoenix? Which one? The good version or the bad version?
I think that's a Dark.
Gambit was so awesome though.
Yeah.
Like he was So awesome.
I don't think they found a good one yet for the new realistic movies. As cool as the cartoon guy was.
Yeah.
I feel like they've had a couple people play Gambit so
They
far.
tried to have Gambit in one of the Wolverine movies.
Yeah.
And it didn't stick.
He was like a Louisiana guy.
Yeah. He was like Card Shark.
Yeah. I don't know. He just didn't have the same
Gossamer.
personality.
I love the name Gossamer. That was his name? Really? That was like his real name?
There you go. Does that sound familiar? Are you alright over there?
Yeah.
You're like, how's
my
name?
phone lined up, and it's like, I've been having issues with my phone today.
No.
Sorry.
India Beck Gardner said, I went to the Springer show a couple times in the audience.
No, you
that
did
is
not.
Hilarious.
No way.
Did you join in on the Jerry chants? Please tell us.
Yes. And did you ask like the inflammatory questions at the end when they've got all their guests line up on stage and they're like, they asked like
that was hilarious. It got so popular.
Questions.
Steve got his own show. He had that branch off.
Oh yeah. He just runs around like he's gonna beat the crap out of people.
Can you imagine though, like you're part of that, like during that generation, that was huge. Like if she's like, I was a part of the Jerry chants, like anybody in that generation was like, no way, I know exactly. But like the next generation will never.
Yeah, they'll be like, what?
We told her daughter that. She's like, what?
Yeah, like she started arguing. Like,
or
Maury.
Jerry.
She'd be like,
Maury.
why are you saying Jerry?
And Maury was funny because like when he started out, he was like actually like more of a talk show and yeah. But then he got into the sort of the Jerry. Yeah, he got into the Jerry stuff.
And the people like the lady losing it. She's like, there ain't no way. I'm like, honey, we know how this happened. There's a way.
No way. And yeah, Backyard Gardner, it was staged. I can
no,
imagine
don't
that.
tell me that. It ruined it.
I can imagine that. Get people to watch.
I knew people who went to that were on the show.
Man,
for what?
That's fame right there.
What? They pay them $250 each. I mean, back in the day, that's poor pay. Poor pay.
Huh? I don't know. The air your laundry though, depending on what it is, $250.
If it's even real laundry.
That's like
real laundry.
It's like Judge Judy. Of course, they got paid to go on there and squabble about their issues. So that was always an interesting one too.
Oh God.
God, there was so once Judge Judy hit big too. Like during the day, like I said, I was homeschooled. Mm-hmm. There was so many courtroom shows, like different ones. Like if you were home from school, I know like people, if you're sick and had to stay home, like half the channels would be.
Who's in small claims court today? Yeah. Hello, Bomber Steve.
Emma said, I like both sides of Phoenix. She was a complex character.
She was super complex.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. And they kind of touched on that in the movies, but like that, the movie just went all kinds of different ways where it was like, okay, you guys, who's linked to what here? So.
Wow, it was a complete made-up story for them too. So that was not based off of
me a little bit.
That's interesting.
I think it's fake dirty laundry.
It sounds like it. Indiana Backyard Gardner's got the scoop. So.
Oh my gosh.
Cody says, did our travel get paid for too? That's a free vacation to go to TV.
Hey, that's a good way to look at it. It really is. Way to pull out the silver lining there, Cody.
Indiana Backyard Gardner said they lived in Chicago and it was filmed in Chicago. Oh. So they didn't have to travel. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even know it was filmed up there. I had no clue where it was filmed. So.
Oh, I have good news for people. That's
quite a
there's no transition. I'm sorry, but I'm really excited. I got a new job, and it's remote.
People that work with you don't watch.
I don't care. I don't care. There's a couple people at work but I don't start until August 30th.
Yeah, so that's exciting too.
I haven't told my manager yet, but it's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure she would have been like a hawk watching for that baby donkey. So, because otherwise she got home, went out to milk, and there it was in the field. So
and I haven't been able to stay out of the. I haven't been able to stay out of the field since.
Mm-hmm.
Like milking took 10 times longer because like I'd stop and look for him and see where he was at.
Yep.
And then like go pet him. And then goats are trying to break out at the gate because they know it's time to be milked. And they're kind of like, "What the heck, lady? Like, milk us.
So,
who cares?"
In all honesty, though, like she said, working from home, it'll help her a lot because last year, while she was able to work from home, the editing, it gave her more time. Of course, you know, the driving back and forth to work takes away time.
Yeah.
Not to mention the just ability to shift right into something else. So
or like sometimes if I'm at work,
I think they'll help our channel quite a bit.
Like
honestly.
I don't want to look at another screen when I take a break.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I want to go outside, or I'm usually talking to him on the phone.
So yeah, it's exciting for us. I know that's some. She definitely wanted to get more into the channel. Like she had said before, we sort of had a lull with the fair, softball season. We've just been really busy. So, and then of course it's summer, and as many of you know, during summer you try to get all your projects done, where the weather's decent.
And
so
boy, do we have some projects on the horizon.
Yeah, we already started
getting excited
trying to figure out the duck pen and stuff. So we got some big ones coming up. So Bomber Steve said we had fun on Saturday night and Sunday night. Helped feed 50 orphaned goats, well discarded by the goat dairy farm. Had to bottle feed them all. Have been adopted, but they are getting 50 more today. Wow, that is a lot.
Is it all from the same dairy goat farm where they're just breeding to get their dose of milk, and they're just like, okay, somebody buy these babies and have
just wonder what type of goats are they too? Are they like Nubians or they?
You can see them coming on the market around here pretty often. More so like in the winter months, I think I see them. But good for you. I'm really glad that you went and volunteered your time to help them little goaty goats.
Poor things get orphaned like that. Like I said, I'm interested to know what type they use for the.
For big dairies, probably like Sonnets or Nubians or.
That's awful though.
It really is. It really is. Well, see, it's instances like that make people really dislike dairies or farmers, and because they see stories like that and they think all farmers are like that or all people that raise animals are like that, and that's not ethical. That's not the way it should be done.
No, for sure. Emma said, "Be sure to set a schedule and stick to it. It's really easy to get distracted by chores and farming." That is for sure.
This is true, 100%.
Yeah, and not to mention just the regular twists of life, different plans popping up here and there. So.
Yes, 100%. Well, Bruce, I guess I will excuse you to be with your family. You have a good night. Thanks for stopping in, Bruce. What are you doing?
I was wondering this one first. All mainly from the same farm. These are all males, at least the ones that are allowed to be rescued. Most farms must drown them. Aw.
Just males can't make more milk later on down the road too.
That's awful though. Kudos to you making a better place for.
That's really sad.
Helping those orphan goats.
My heart.
Yeah.
It really does. I don't know how anybody could do that to a little baby animal.
Yeah.
Good for you, Bomber Steve. That gives you like saint status in my book. Honestly, it does.
Totally agree.
I love when people volunteer their time to things like that too, because it makes you feel good, and I mean. Even with a small amount of time that you're with the animal, it feels good to know that you cared for it and they probably felt cared for.
Yes, definitely.
You're multitasking, Indiana Gardner. You mean you're not giving us your full
and you're busy, you have to get things done, that's for sure. So circling back to the hawk, we were talking about an update on that too as well. I think we have
I say this and I will knock on the wooden table of which you all sit. Yeah.
So one reason I've got like a sore throat and
running
snuffles is because I bush hogged our backfield and there was tons of Queen Anne's lace and a couple other wildflowers.
Lots of taller grasses.
Yeah, and dumped pollen in the air everywhere. Like you were driving through it and it was like a cloud you could smell.
It was bad.
But since we chopped it down, of course, it opened up the field, and now it looks like the hawk is just hanging out back there. Which while I was cutting it, you could see field mice running in and out every now and then. So.
And we also bush hogged the goat field, and I feel like because he's seeing it, I think he was just moving to our backyard because it could actually see food here. It knows that it's a risk because anytime we opened up the door or the window to yell at it or
send the dogs out.
Yeah, send the dog. I mean, it was gone. It knew that it was in danger. So it's been staying in the backfield. I hear it back there all the time, and I can see it in the trees back there. So I feel like by bush hogging and taking care of our land, that kind of encouraged him to stay back there, where I don't care what he kills and eats, and it doesn't affect me. Therefore, it won't affect him in the long run with pythons hung everywhere or letting the dogs out and stressing it out and stressing me out. So I feel like we by doing that, we actually solved the problem.
Yeah, and on a good note, we've been bush hogging that more extensively the last 2 years.
The 4th time this year?
Yeah, third. It's the 3rd time. Yeah. And last year I mowed it 2 or 3 times. And it's amazing how naturally grass starts regrowing in that area. Before it was just, if I bush hogged it, it was like once, maybe twice a year. And there was weeds, like the thick stems from the bottom of the weeds. And now we're actually getting a quality grass underneath it, which is
it would be nice at some point to maybe have someone come in and bale it for us.
Yep. Or
so we could have our own hay.
Turn into pasture because we already have plans to sort of block
so
it
that
out.
kind of answers Cody's, because Cody says, don't your goats eat your weeds down? They do, but that's not in the goat pen. Like the main area of which this hog is using as its hunting ground right now, at least on our property, is like the back 40 that we haven't fenced it in. There's nothing running that field. Like we just take care of it.
We're like back 5.
Back 5. Well.
But even in the goat pen, he's probably also talking about the goat pen with the bush hog.
Yes.
And there's still too much there for them to keep up with completely. Even with the 2 donkeys.
How much is that fenced in?
Probably 2.5 acres.
2.5 acres fenced in with like 30 goats on it right now, and now 2.5 donkeys. Like they still can't keep it down.
And it's got good grass, like it's real thick. The funny thing is when we had the 1 horse though, it kept it all down. It was amazing. But like even our donkeys hammering it, 2 of them, the one they eat constantly, and the one, Brenny, has like a real fat neck.
So we've been putting a grazing muzzle on her on and off to help slow her down so she doesn't become obese and hurt herself.
So they do try to keep the weeds down. Like the donkeys prefer the grass, of course, and the goats prefer the weeds, but it's still just too much for them overall. So
and it was getting to the point where it was high enough where it was making me uncomfortable because it was like high grass all the way up to the fence line. I literally can't see if there's a coyote back there, or if there's something back there that shouldn't be back there, or if I've got a goat that is out in the tall grass because.
In general, too, the baby goats, it was taller in their back, so you'd lose them.
And they can still squeeze through in some parts of our fence, so they do like to get out. So it was necessary.
So, Bummer Steve said, we have a animal rescue called Maddie Sanctuary near my town, and they rescue all sorts of animals. You can find them on Facebook. We were happy to do what we could to help.
That's awesome. So they have like people come in and volunteer all the time?
Way to be a good Samaritan.
Yes. 100%, and good for them for being an open place.
I was also able to donate a commercial washing machine and dryer to them yesterday that my work was in. And from my work that was in the shed, not being used. They also take donations via PayPal if anyone ever wants to help.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, good for you, Bomber Steve. I'm really happy. That makes me happy to know you. 100%.
Yep.
More places like that need to exist.
Maddie Sanctuary.
Maddie Sanctuary.
We'll have to check them out on Facebook. Give them a follow. If they're helping goats, we're definitely
if they're helping baby goats, and they've got my vote. They've got my vote.
You was saying to Emma, it was great. They lost about 8 of the 50 because they didn't get a good start from their mom, but before they were taken away, and one basically passed them out. It was very sad. Aw. Ashley's had that happen a couple times.
That is like the worst feeling.
Ruins her night.
It ruins like my month when it happens. I almost can't handle it. Found it, liked it. Cool. Thank you, Bomber Steve, for showing us things like
Ross.
that.
Hope you all are well. Hey, Ross. What's going on, man? Just stop in and say I love the videos, even though I have 0 green thumb. Hey,
well, that makes me so happy.
I'm with you there, Ross. She's got a little bit more of a green thumb, but it's definitely
he took care of the weeds this year.
Yeah. But it's amazing as you can. Just how it just evolves, and you just.
That's so nice seeing you in here, Ross. I enjoy your little daughter too. Oh my gosh, she's like the cutest kid ever.
Yeah.
Like it warms my heart seeing pictures of her. So keep posting about that. I love it. I seriously do. Like it makes me so happy for you. That's awesome. Thanks, son. Thank you, Emma, for sharing that link.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Maddie Sanctuary.
So if you guys wanted to go check that out, then you can go check it out. If you choose to support, then support.
Yep. Sounds like definitely a good cause.
You're driving some interest to their cause too, because honestly, like I love that there are places like that volunteer their time and their resources, and like that's their main goal. If anybody's ever like talked to me like on a really, really personal basis, that it has always been my dream to like open up a sanctuary farm when I'm older, hopefully more established, and can handle that. But I don't know. I feel like you have to have a really special heart to almost like run like a hospice in some situations. Like knowing that you're taking on an animal that only has a specific amount of time left to live, and you're just trying to make those last bits, those last moments, like very bearable and happy and safe.
Definitely.
You're gonna make me emotional, Barbara Steve. Like seriously, that kills me. Like I can't stand thinking that people do animals wrong.
Good question, Steve. We're trying to figure it out ourselves. How do you test the fence?
I was told
to see if it will keep in a goat? Throw a bucket of
water
water at the fence before it goes through some of us goats, especially Nigerians. We found out.
Yes.
Boars was the opposite. Boars, you would basically take your tractor, run it through the fence. If it goes through, then that's how you keep in a boar.
Yeah.
No, seriously,
you're right, 100%.
It's one of those things where if they get their head through, they can squeeze through. Their shoulders aren't much wider than their head because they're smaller goats anyway.
But they're like mice and snake. If they can get their head through, they're going through it.
Unfortunately, our Nigerians aren't much of leapers, so we do have a pretty tall fence because we had the boars, and we have it. It's just the ability to get their head through. That's when they can sneak out. And we've patched up some areas. I mean, for Nigerians, I've seen like where they put up the square fencing. Like
there was one lady I saw. She actually took like metal panels and put them up like hip high because she's like, I cannot keep these goats in. She's like, I just am going to put metal panels. And it was super cute, which I know when it comes to fencing, like aesthetics really aren't that important. But sometimes, like, she was a backyard hobby farmer, so for her aesthetics were important. And it looked adorable. But she's like, they have not gotten out of it yet. And I'm like, well, because it's a metal panel, I hope they can't get through that. And if they can, it's time to.
That always reminds me of this story. Ashley was following a guy, and he had obviously had money, was building all this new stuff right off the bat, got into boar goats and was buying good bloodline stuff. Was all excited, and he bought a real nice buck, and of course was still building up things. Nice so he put the buck in the barn, and next
outside
the barn, those had access in the barn on the other side of the wall, of course, and that monster buck just basically knocked down the entire panel on the wall. Yeah.
He was like, I didn't think that, but I mean, like,
it was a big barn too, so it was like a big tall piece of metal on the outside, and it just knocked him.
But it was kind of funny because he kept posting, he's like, nobody's got a good barn as mine, and I was just like, karma.
And that's the problem with the boar goats too. Like our barn where we had boar goats is all dented in spots around where they lay and the sides that are in their pen because they would just run across. They just basically take their horns and just run across and dented all the ridges. So that was annoying.
Yeah,
but
even like small pin
like up near the front, I intentionally built the fence off about 20 feet back from the barn because I'm like they're going to dent it all up, and I don't want it up near the front. So it's more towards the back where you have to sort of walk in the fence.
Well, we know because we have the miniature goats, the Nigerian goats. They don't have as hard of an impact, and also for show purposes. We just bud. So like nobody has horns. The only one that has horns is the one last boar goat that we have she will absolutely live out her very last day here. Because she was a rescue. I'm very attached to her. I was as attached to her as I was to Bojangles, who was like my first goat.
Yeah.
And she got to live out her entire life here, and Dilly will receive the same treatment. She will stay here until like it's her last day, and it will be like the best day. Like I'll give you ice cream cones and everything if I know it's coming. So.
Palmer Steve said there are some cool photos of the goats in their little jackets on there.
Goats in clothing? Oh my gosh. Like who could say no to that? What?
You're funny. Yoder Valley Farm says, check out my channel. In a few weeks I'll have a video on how to make goat milk lotion. Good night everyone. Hope you have a nice
I will definitely be doing that because I'm really interested to see how that goes, Yoder Valley Farms. You have a good night too. Thanks for stopping in.
Bomber Steve said they currently have rescue pigs, camels, turkey, ostrich, a whole mix of animals, and I didn't see them all. That is awesome.
Wow.
So they take in pretty much anything. It sounds
are you gonna? Just because like if I had something that close to, which we really don't have anything that close to us that does something like that, but is that going to be like a normal thing that you volunteer your time to?
Yeah.
And you don't have to be like weird one way or the other. Like even just giving a small amount of time on a one-time deal is great, you know.
Yoder Valley Farm says my goats can get through the smallest little holes in their fence. It's very impressive. It's so true though, because like with ours, I told Ashley we went from having buffalo, which was equivalent to boars, to basically trying to keep in hamsters.
I mean, it's so bad when I have a couple that get out and I can't figure out. Like I literally have to walk the fence line and look for hair on the fence or like the push marks where you can tell like. they ram themselves through, and that's the only time sometimes I can figure out where.
What's like our board fence we had up was 4 boards before, which was plenty for the boar goats, and of course getting these smaller ones we had to go to 5 all the way across because
had to get another one.
The gaps were too big still.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So Cody said we've never been able to keep a boar goats alive. I suck at it. Kiko goats are much easier. Seems like boars like to eat poisonous weeds that Kiko goats will ignore.
Boars, because of the way that breed is going, are not built for longevity, in my opinion. And we have some really, really good friends like at the fair that I like them a lot, and they win a lot, and they're very invested, but like when they have like a whole herd of recip does where it's like, we'll breed our does, but then we take the embryos and we put them in these recip does because we don't want to affect her ability to show or how she's going to rank
wear down her body basically from kidding.
So I'm just like, but you're creating a breed that if somebody were to buy that and not have recips, they might just go ahead and breed that animal, and then you've got an animal that can't birth, probably can't mother, probably a terrible mother. So I mean, instincts go a long, long way, but like really and I hate to say this, but like when we take over how we structure animals to be bred or the qualities that we want to see, we really destroy the longevity of a lot of animals. And honestly, that's why I've switched to dairy animals, because the way that they judge them and look at them, like they 100% are for longevity and how long that animal can produce. And for that, I mean, that's their mammary.
Yeah.
And that's something that kind of spoke to me. Like, we want to breed the best animal body-wise so that they have an easy life. They can easily bear kids. They can easily support the mammary system. They can easily live long, happy, healthy lives if they're conformed to this body spectrum. So,
for sure.
That's just my take.
But I think it's a similar thing you see with like the meat birds, the turkeys and the chickens, where they've almost lost their survival instinct. Yeah. But they're just bred for a purpose.
Yeah, like Kikos and Kinders are supposed to be some of the more sought after survival goats. It's because like they're supposed to be more parasite resistant, like you don't have to hoof trim them and such. Do you find a difference in Kiko goats, Cody, compared to your boars when it comes to parasites? Because I will say, like, my boars didn't look great unless I was pumping them with like the highest protein feed that I could. I was literally out there all the time checking Comanches and running beagles, and because they were just so susceptible to things, you know, and they required a lot. They required a lot of food to keep them in good shape. Yeah. Because you'd have people come out there like, this one doesn't look like the ones that I've seen in shows. I'm like, because this is not a show animal. Like, this is a meat animal. Like, this will produce wethers for you for fair and then to go into somebody's freezer. Like, that's what she's for. So.
I mean, it's interesting when they breed things though like that. Like, I've heard there's a breeder trying to breed pugs back into more their natural state because I guess pugs have been bred to such a standard with their faces being so scrunched where they're having trouble breathing. So they were trying to
or like the cranium
bring back the original
in the Doberman breed that causes them to be aggressive because there's not enough room for their brain and their cranium because they want those slender little skulls. Yeah. And I'm saying that as much as like I breed for a specific quality in my dairy goats, but I think that's why I chose dairy goats. Because sometimes when people ask why did you switch, it's like that is my reason. And like, really, you breed for a healthier. You're bettering the breed. You're not bettering the show ring. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just me though. And there could be someone who shows boards that would totally like change my mind, talk me up one side and down the other, and change the way I look at it. But I haven't met that person yet.
Yep.
I'd like
to.
For
sure. Yeah. Oh, Rockin' Robin Goats is in here tonight.
Hello, Rockin' Robins. How are you, Braxton? Are you doing good? What's new on your side of the country?
Bummer C said, yeah, I've said to Matt, I will come out and help anytime. He has my number, and anytime he needs it, he might be able to help me out with animal rehab with my reptile snake relocation.
Right. That's very good. That's awesome. Wow. I love hearing that.
Bomber Steve said, snake season starts in about 3 weeks, so I'm getting pumped up. Time to get among the brownies. There you go.
Well, I'm excited for you. Good luck.
And remind us again, what type of snakes do you catch?
What type of snakes do you not catch? Because I feel like you catch lots of different snakes.
Yeah.
And in Australia, I keep hearing that everything is poisonous and deadly. So much respect, Bomber Steve. Much respect.
Cody said, absolutely, they're more parasite resistant. My buck was born here and has never been wormed. I give him copper bolus 2 times a year.
My type of animal. Yep. My type of animal.
And especially this year, because of the wet weather, it seems like parasites have been bad on our farm. Especially with our bucks, we had an issue where their Comanche scores started to drop. Yeah. And actually had to.
It was like white
push worm
overnight, right?
And that's even treating pretty regular with the natural warmer.
Their Comanches all the time, and it was just one of those days where he just didn't come up to the fence.
Also because she's using the natural dewormer,
which is more of a preventative. Yeah. It's not a treatment.
But you're doing it pretty frequently.
Yeah, I do.
And it still wasn't enough to really.
Yeah, and it's this pen. It's my buck pen because the 2 does that I just pulled out of there came from the buck pen. So I think I've got a concentration of worms, parasites in that pen. So we're trying to figure out how to rotate them out, but
we got some ideas.
We'll see how it goes, one project at a time. And you don't have to apologize for being late, Braxton. I'm just flattered that you are here. Really am.
He said, "It's been so hot." Yep. Especially when the humidity goes up.
Yes, it's dried out a little bit here, though. I will say that. Like the heat index has been around 80, but the humidity is not nearly as bad as it has been. And I don't blame you, Cody. You just have those does that, like, if they're not thrifty enough for you, then they shouldn't be part of your breeding program. And I've actually said that to you several times. I've got one doe. I love her. She's really sweet. She's really easy to work with. She's great hand milker, but she is not thrifty, and she's creating thin, like more petite, smaller does than I would like. And because of that, I'm like, I'm going to wait and see what this next pairing does to see if I can turn it around on her. But if not, then she's probably just not for me because it takes a lot to keep her looking okay.
Yeah. Bomber Steve said Eastern Brown, second most toxic venom on the planet. Wow. A few red-bellied blacks, potentially fatal, and a rare tiger, sixth most toxic venom, and plenty of attitude.
God, Bomber Steve.
Holy cow. And he said 90% of the Eastern Browns are in his area. That's a snake in my profile with the
sparkles. And it looks
it looks pretty vicious.
It looks like it's ready to rumble.
Flies.
I know. The flies are really bad here.
Just like one fly.
They like come in the house and then you can't get them out.
Cody said we do grow a lot of pumpkins, which are supposed to help with worms as well, and we rotate pastures. Yep. Yeah, that's one thing we do with our leftover pumpkins is feed them off to the goats because they do make it a natural dewormer.
It does. It helps
resist parasites with them for sure.
I know you have people that will fight with you like, it doesn't do that. I'm like, it does though. Like, I've noticed a change.
Braxton feels the problems here. Is it just mine or are my goats getting out every time they go in the heat? Yeah.
Our sister-in-law had this problem, and it was
we
one
had Rosie,
doe.
Remember?
Rosie had a video. She keeps getting out too.
Yeah.
But
then they get the drive to go find a buck, and they want out bad. So you're not alone, that's for sure. Those are real goat problems.
Yeah, it's not just you. It really isn't. We have the same problem.
Yep.
And we're quickly approaching where when this summer heat lets down, like my girls will start cycling harder, and it'll be like stay in your own pens because Flu was actually out today. He found one board that if he hits it just right, it'll pop. And he's been out 2 or 3 nights. I'm like, thank God I have no does that are like 100% in heat.
Gardner said he liked Jeremy Wade. I'm trying to think who that is. I feel like I should ring a bell.
I'm afraid to Google it. Is it Google? Is it safe to Google? Is it?
That's what. Bomber Steve said they rear up in the S position, which is they're pissed off. Don't leave me alone. Boxer stance. LOL. If they stand still, they relax. If you stand still, they relax and try to get away, so you can grab their tail and bag them. Man, that's still a little too much of an adrenaline rush for me.
I'm gonna pee my pants stance for me, where I'm like, okay, bud.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm cool. We cool.
Yep, Cody said now he's going to watch
there will be plenty of baby pics on Facebook.
Oh,
100%. Sure. Yes. Super duper will be happening. Yes, Braxton, you missed it. We came home today.
Yep, the big
and
news.
I went out to milk, and I was like, that is a weird looking goat. And then it moved, and I was like, that's a baby donkey. So Lola foaled today, and we have a nice new baby donkey.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that the name Grogu stuck earlier in chat.
Yep, I think we get the name, figured out.
I'm pretty sure it's Lola and Grogu.
After many votes on Grogu, so. But
I'm in love with the name.
It's a little Jack.
Yeah. Of course, everything born on my farm this year is going to be male. Even more roosters this year than hens have hatched.
Yeah, we at first thought it may have been a female, but just haven't dropped.
No, it hasn't. No, because at first, like, we were looking at it, and I'm like, "Does it got any danglies?" And Mark's like, "Nope." But then we got up on it and lifted the tail. I'm like,
"There's the danglies."
It was hiding the dangly.
Danglies aren't dangling yet. Dang it. Bomber C said, "I'd love to come to the U.S. and have a go.
Yeah.
Tailing some rattlesnakes and copperheads. I love your corn snakes too. They're lovely.
Pretty?
Yeah. You need to come out here and take care of the pythons too, because that's a big thing down south.
Down south, yeah. They get the pythons.
Yeah, they have like tournaments to see how many you can get.
Well, they're extremely invasive and they're really interrupting the ecosystems down there.
And they're thriving down there too.
Super thriving, but that means a lot of like the native species are not thriving. So they're huge.
Similar to like the hog issue.
Feral hogs are starting to become an issue. Yeah, 100%. So some of the things that we have on the docket for us this weekend and that are coming up that we are excited about is we are going to be butchering our first. It was hiding the dangly. It was. He was like crossing his legs. I'm like, quit it. We need to know right now what is
Braxton
your gender.
said, "So cool. I want donkeys, but our neighbors won't like me." Why not? Our donkeys. I mean,
ours do not.
Is it because I was going to ask you? Is it because of the noise concern? Because really, ours don't hee-haw. I mean, you can almost train them to hee-haw too. Like you can.
When I was feeding and haying every day in the winter,
Rennie
would call. The moment she saw me come to the door or even caught like movement through the window, I could hear her hee-haw. But because I'm not I'm only.
I haven't heard her hee-haw in a while. And Lola doesn't.
And they don't hee-haw.
Lola doesn't make.
Lola's never hee-haw.
And so honestly, our goats make way more noise than our donkeys.
Especially when they're in heat. They're just standing in the
So
bed
if noise
screaming.
is a concern, I'll be honest. At least the miniatures we have, they don't hee-haw.
Our neighbors make
Our full size, he hauled quite a bit, but also we had him trained to hee-haw whenever we'd call his name out. So you could basically call out his name and
he would answer.
Which was pretty cool.
So Bomber Steve says those Burmese pythons are an environmental disaster. The Everglades have lost 90% of its mammal population. That is what happens when you let non-endemic animals into your country. Same as ours. Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, we've had issues 100%. Also. Like we have a big local recreational lake and just invasive fish species. Yeah. I think there's like a type of carp.
Alligators. Yeah. This is Indiana. It freezes in this. Yeah. It freezes. And we've had them pull out alligators and crocodiles in the lake. There's been like
different types of carp and little fish that get in there that are invasive. And then here recently, they've had issues with some type of algae, I think it is. So you have to. Algae. They recommend you wash off your boat before you take it out, or after you take it out.
And they'll give warnings as to when you shouldn't be swimming. So I mean that just kind of is what it is.
For sure.
You can't really go back in time and tell people not to do things that are stupid. They do it, and there's been a lot of things that have been introduced here that are environmental disasters. I know that's when the Asian murder hornet came into Washington State. They were freaking out because they were sure if that spread that it was going to decimate our honeybee population.
Which is scary, because they are so harmful to honeybees. Which are already having enough issues, so vaccinating is something else.
The plane was flying over doing not pesticides, probably doing more herbicides than anything. But it always freaks me out because I'm like, and we don't have as much blow over here, but he was dusting Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, please, God, do not let my bees get into that because I do not want to come out here and be horrified to see poison bees because they'll be all over the front of your hive, just like hundreds and hundreds dead.
Yeah.
So Braxton says, we finally got our first buckling of the year sold. We will miss him. Yeah. I'm always like, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 6
they'll be happy he'll be happy in his new job, but definitely understand the rotational bucks. We've had quite a few come in and out and go.
And we've had quite a few this year where I'm just like, I'm going to weather you because I don't feel like I don't think you've deserved the right to breed because there's too many people that just let them go and breed. And really, for me, I found it's a much more ethical for first timers, especially nope, we're going to weather your kids until we know what you're doing and if your genetics are worth that.
And that's one thing that's worked out well with us for Nigerians too, is they make great pet goats, smaller size, good personality.
Yeah.
People like them as well.
100%.
Where a meat goat, they get a little too big and to keep as like a real close pet. So we've had good luck even selling our wethers, I think. Unless, of course, you're selling 4-H or something that goes to fair, you're going to have good luck with your wethers, but for meat goats. But as pets, they're a little harder to keep in smaller areas. Yeah. So.
And I agree with you, Bomber Steve. Like, those are beautiful snakes, but like it'll never be achieved. You're right. Yeah. But they do have programs now that they're trying.
That's the hard part too. With like a lot of those pests like that too, they become prolific breeders. Like pythons lay large clutches of eggs. Same with the pigs. I mean, the sows can bear, I think, 12 in their litter or whatever, and it just when they can breed and reproduce that fast, it just makes it hard to.
Yeah. And it figures like things like that, their gestation periods are not that long. So it's like within a year, I mean, if you've got multiple litters.
That's even with the piglets. I mean, they seem to grow pretty quick too. Their growth rate.
And after a while, their mothers should kick them off and are like, I'm done with you. And then when they stop being nursed, that's when they go back into heat. And then that's when horse come around and are like, I will service you.
There's a channel I like to watch, and he goes out and hunts. He does some coyote, but it's mainly feral pigs. And,
is that Carpe Sus?
Yeah, Carpe Sus. Yeah, he does really a lot of night hunting, so it's a lot of thermal.
It's really neat.
He's pretty good at editing or filming and talking while he's filming. But one cool thing he used to do, which we used to like, and unfortunately the YouTube's banned it, so he had to sort of limit it. Yeah. But he used to go through the pig after he had shot it, and he'd break down what the anatomy basically of the pig, of what muscles it went through, what organs it struck. Like, the guy had extensive knowledge of like the anatomy of a pig. Like, he'd be talking about the muscles, what bones. Yeah. It was actually, I was like, is he like a vet or something? I loved it though. But it was cool. It was very interesting. But he unfortunately can't do it anymore because he was getting strikes for having that content in his videos. Well, I think he branched off.
It's encouraging too, like as a fellow hunter, when you do go out and you harvest animals off of the land, you're wanting it to be as humane as you can. And I feel like understanding the anatomy of your animal, that the fair in which you are hunting, it's important to understand their anatomy and to understand where you need to strike the animal in order to make that kill as humane and quick as possible. So for me, that was one of those things where I'm like, this is really interesting. And I really can appreciate that he's dedicated to understanding the anatomy of what he's hunting.
So Bomber Steam, it sounds like they do have the feral pig problem too.
Wow, 30 million. Feral everything's Bomber Steve.
Yeah, man. Toads, foxes, just a whole gambit of different.
That's crazy. Got a whole zoo loose out there in the countryside. My God. Burmese pythons lay between 50 and 100 eggs. Yeah. In the native jungle, a lot of them get eaten, and Everglades, when those survive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because they don't have any natural predators, or the animals that are there don't know to look for the clutches yet. They haven't figured out that that's a food source.
I'm pretty sure they're cannibalistic too. Yeah. Out there, that type of predator.
Sure, I know crocodiles.
Because pretty much they clean out all their prey and then they just start preying on each other.
Yeah. Well, if the food sources are low, they're opportunistic and they have the drive to survive. So it is what it is.
Crazy.
Well, guys, I think I'm going to actually wrap it up because I want to go out there and catch this little baby donkey and put it in a different stall with its mother.
Ashley wants to spend more time with the baby donkey. I think I might have trouble getting her back in the house tonight because it definitely has her heart right now because she loves it to death.
So. Little Grogu.
But yeah, there will definitely be plenty of pictures coming up of it.
Yes.
And 100%,
videos. There will be.
If you live close to us, you can stop by and see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care. I like this reason. Let me know you're coming first.
But yeah, we'll wrap it up because we do want to put it in a barn in a stall with its mom so it can sort of be dedicated and away from everything.
Yeah. So I want to eliminate any possibilities of harm coming to it. So, all right. So I thank each and every one of you for being here with us tonight. We love spending time with you. Yep. I can't wait to spend more time with you guys next Wednesday. So until next time, make sure you guys are being safe out there, being kind to one another.
Good night, family and friends. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Diesel Dog. Love you, William. And the broadcast.